Hey, Michelle here from Sensate Soul, as well as the Soul Translator. And I am hanging out, watching the rains come in and out here on my house on the river. And I'm taking a little time to take a break and to look at the river and to try to get into flow, to be honest. It's not an easy day in my world today, and you know that happens. We all have ups and down days or weeks, months, years, all of that, and that's just all life, right? But I wanted to talk about in this video something that I've come to understand, and a little observation here. Maybe I should turn around so you can see the river. Let's do that. There we go. So I've been exploring a lot more in more depth lately around narcissism. It seems like there's a lot of transformation happening for me lately, first from some things in my past, some people that I've been involved with, and a lot around the effects of narcissism. So I've been breaking through a lot of old mindsets and some emotional wounding around the effects of narcissism in my childhood and also as an adult. So that's my full transparency, full disclosure here. And I want to share something that I hope is going to be useful for you, that has been very profound for me to work with. And I would also like to share or say that I have seen this, now that I have this insight, I am seeing the pattern of the clients that I've worked with, and being able to just recognize now that something feels much more true, and I'm able to see the pattern of this playing out in other people. So here it is. Who is your inner critic? What's their personality? What's their style of talking to you? What kind of mindset or beliefs what are like the biggie ones that they come up with to, kind of scare you back into line? So I'm asking these questions because what I've been realizing, especially, I didn't introduce myself again. I keep forgetting to do that lately. I work with sensitivity as a personal and spiritual development path in life and in embodiment, and really knowing who we are in our body, mind, purpose, soul, everything, and as well as specialize in working with HSPs and empaths, and what I lovingly call us empreneurs, those who are using their creative empathic gifts and talents in the world for a business to make a difference in their lives and the lives of others. So back to this topic around the inner critic and narcissism. So what I've discovered is that, sorry, excuse me, I've got a little bit of a sore throat. Probably a good thing that I'm speaking on things to keep clearing that chakra out. What I've been discovering is that there seems to be a connection between who was the most influential person in your upbringing or in your life, in the sense of what affected most your beliefs and mindsets, your most negative or challenging or traumatic mindsets and beliefs, or that have come from the negative influence, the critical influence, the traumatic influence of a particular person in your life. That could be a parent, that could be foster parent, that could be a teacher. It all depends. It's not always the parents, but it generally is. But so if you think about that person for a moment, what is their personality? who are they? How do they deal with the world? So here's my little bit of my story here. My father was a narcissist, and I can say that now directly, as I just did, and also that I love my father dearly. He had also many positive influences in my life, and some of those positive influences came from my rebelling against him or pushing back against his criticism. So I developed some positive qualities and strengths because of his critical domination. So, and I think his mother was also a narcissist when I look back into her history. I don't know about my grandfather, what he was like, and he didn't have an influence because he passed away accidentally when my dad was really young, like under 5. So when I look into what is the resounding personality of my inner critic, and this is so hard to say because of being an empath and HSP, and because I used to work clinically with, those with NPD, the narcissistic personality disorder. So this is a really difficult thing for me to say and admit. But it's also, I've got to let it, I can't hide this one because I need to be honest with myself as well. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to explore this for yourself, because it's very powerful healing. So my inner critic is a narcissist. When I listen to the voice it uses, the tactics it uses, the way it gaslights me, the different ways that it treats me, and I say it because I'm talking about the general energy of this inner critic, because we all have the inner critic. The way it treats me is similar to how a narcissist treats me. So the internalized voice I have for this inner critic is based on externally where I got criticism, which was mostly from my father, and pretty badly. So the voice then of my internalized inner critic is a narcissist. That is really, really damn hard to say. The biggest things that I work against, that I help others heal from the effects of, from my own experience and, clinically in the past, but now as a coach. And it's something that I have a very, very soft spot, and also very sensitive to, and also very familiar with, personally and professionally. And so it's, there's a couple main causes that I think we all have in life. There's 1 or 2 or 3 that are really like our core things. And I can definitely say that 2 of mine, the one being sensitivity, and empathy, of course, that goes with that, because empathy is sensitivity, and the other one is narcissism. And there's a couple more, but those are the ones that fit this video that we're talking about right now. So for me to admit that my inner critic is basically just a real asshole narcissist, when it gets fired up and gets the better of me, that's really hard. That's really a hard thing to say, but I also know that shame lives in secrets, and I'm exposing this one. So I'm offering this sharing for you as inspiration, that you do a little digging as well, and start listening to that voice, and not listening to in the sense of like, okay, it's telling me the truth, okay, I'm going to listen to it, but in the sense of listening to it to see what is its personality. Well, how does it treat you? How does it talk to you? And does that remind you of anybody in your past that had a negative critical impact on you, that you may have internalized their voice? You can also do it the other way, where you flip it around and you look at, who do you feel was, the most negatively influential person for your self-esteem and your, you know, belief in yourself and everything. And what was their personality? You know, were they a bully? Were they a victim? Were they a know-it-all? Were they a narcissist? Were they, you know, generally angry and blaming everybody? You know, were they manic? Were they, you know, bipolar, kind of like, you know, where they were just really emotionally, were they unstable in some ways, is what I'm trying to say. So if you really look, were they, okay, I just actually have to add a couple more. You know, were they emotionally really cut off and very demanding? Were, you know, was their core personality one that was extremely controlling and rigid? You know, what was their core personality type or core personality trait that has a lot to do with how you then talk to yourself? So I know this is a pretty deep dive here for this video, but I feel like this is really important to share and to offer to you to explore for yourself, because, you know, it's kind of like that thing of like when you know what you're dealing with, you know how to deal with it better. So my experience is now that I've discovered that, oh my God, my internal inner critic, the internalized critical voice inside me, is very narcissistic. Now I can work with that one voice to the best of my ability in a way that I would work with a real life narcissist. And I've got a lot of experience in that. So, but so now it's like with that clarity, with that understanding, I can also have more compassion and empathy for myself when that critic comes up and messes things up, like it has been today in the last couple days, where I've gotten under its thumb a bit. And so I've been giving my power away the last couple days to this inner narcissistic critic inside me, and definitely having some, you know, big emotions and big feelings, that I'm sitting with those as well. So along with this understanding is, you know, there's this deep emotional stuff that wants attention and that I'm attending to and feeling through my body. But then there's also this identification of the narcissistic inner critic that now that I know that, I can work more with that part, like I said, as I would if it was somebody in my life. And because, you know, obviously it's a part of me, it all deserves, just like anything that you do in integrating and not listening to your inner critic, and you know, it all, because, you know, we can't kick those parts out of us, but we can learn to listen to them less and not pay attention to them as much. And so like in my physical life, I've had to end many relationships with narcissists, but in my internal life, it's a different type of healing. It's a different type of recognition and boundaries and not listening, and many different things that I'm learning now that I've identified this, of like, I see, now I know what to do here. Because if it's just a blank-faced inner critic inside us, then sometimes it's not as easy to deal with because it's a little more nebulous, a little more unknown. But if you can look at that inner critic and connect it to the internalized negative voice that you got at some point in your life that helped create some of these, you know, mindsets and negative beliefs and low, you know, self-esteem, if you're dealing with that, then you know kind of the nature of the beast, and you can learn to work with it more proactively and empathically with yourself. All right, there we have it. A little bit more of a personal share this time, but hey, you know, I'm keeping it transparent and keeping it real here. So if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and also comment below. I'd love to know what you think and feel about this. I will be creating more content on this for blog posts or videos, and as well possibly something in Sensei Soul School connected to the other course I'm creating around narcissism. Or how to deal with narcissism. It's not a course on narcissism. That's not what we do at Sensei Soul School. But so if you would like to know more, please do come on over to senseisoul.com, get some more support there, join the mailing list, as well as, and get things that I only share via private emails. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. So much love.